fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the second wave of Shodo Double Cross for Kamen Rider, and we have 8 boxes to take a look at in this set. The top row here is all stuff from Kamen Rider Double. We have his 3 main forms, Cyclone Joker, Heat Metal, and Luna Trigger, as well as the secondary rider for Double, which is Kamen Rider Axel. Down here, starting on the left, we have Kamen Rider 02 from Kamen Rider 01. Then from Kamen Rider Black RX, we have Robo Rider and Bio Rider. And then the last box is just kind of like the accessory parts box with all their weapons and everything. So, very cool. Looks like a very nice set. Obviously very double heavy, considering half of it is dedicated to Kamen Rider Double. And I think even 3, maybe 4, I can't remember. But there's still more Double to come in future waves. There's not really too much to this packaging, I'll be quite honest with you. It gives you the lineup over here on the side. And then on the back, it just kind of shows you the figure, couple close-ups, things like that. So I'm not going to necessarily go through every one of these, but just to give you a quick look. So you get the idea. I'm going to go ahead and get all of these out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. Here are the figures out of the packaging, and honestly, they look absolutely fantastic. They did a really great job with these. We'll start here in the center with Kamen Rider Double Cyclone Joker, and just really fantastic paint applications here. You can see all the paint. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the entire figure is molded in black, and then the green side is all paint. Now, obviously, the purple here, anything, that's not black is painted, but I believe the whole figure is molded in black. You can kind of see it a little bit in the joints. You can see over here and kind of down here in the ankle. But just really, really well done. They even give you this finger hand gesture so you can do the count up your sins. You got the beautiful cape flowing in the breeze. Now, he does come with a regular cape, if you prefer to just kind of have it hanging there in the back so you can swap them out. But I just think this looks really great with the giant breezy version of the scarf. I think that's really, really cool. And just all in all, it's a great looking figure. I mean, they really did a beautiful job. Articulation wise, you have a ball joint for the head. So you have pretty nice movement up. Kind of just standard movement down, side to side. You can tilt a little bit side to side as well. The shoulder pads here are kind of connected to the body, so they are just kind of sitting and resting above the actual shoulder here. So you have a ball joint there, you have a bicep swivel, a little bit over 90 degrees there in the elbow, and then you just have a swivel for the wrists because you can just pop these out and they just peg in, so you can swivel them around however you want. And you do get a variety of hand options. Each one of these figures has at least 3 sets of hands. Or I should say 3 additional sets of hands, because obviously he's got one on right now. So you can do whatever you like. You can see you've got closed fists. If I could keep this in my hand, you could see. I've got closed fists. I've got open kind of karate chop hands, somewhat open hands, weapon holding hands. So there's just a lot of hand options with these, which is great. You have a ball joint here in the torso, kind of in the diaphragm area, but then you also have a ball joint at the waist as well. And then you have really nice ball joints down here for the hips. So this can kick pretty far forward. I believe these can move. This one's not wanting to move, but I thought, there we go. So you can kind of push them up or pull them down to fill in the space. But you can kind of kick out to the side. You can kick forward. It's kind of weird. Like you think he would have more out to the side ability, but it's not really giving it to me. I would say about that far. Then you have a thigh swivel right below that. I would definitely say over 90 degrees in the knee. Then you have a ball joint in the ankle as well as this toe bend, as you can see right there. And you do have some molded texture there on the bottom of the feet. So it's a really great looking figure. I mean, the paint applications alone, it looks absolutely fantastic. I think the hips are a little weird. I know it's just a simple ball joint, but it feels kind of limited. And you kind of have to like push them in or pull them down. I think when you pull them down, you're supposed to be able to get more out of them. But I guess I could kick it out like that. So it's just a little wonky, but you can get what you need out of it. And then if you just want to fill in the space, you can kind of push it back up. But it's a really, really nice looking figure. They don't come with stands or anything like that, like Shodo does. So you just kind of have to get him to stand here, like so. Alright. Next up, we will move to Axel. I'm going to move this back. He does not transform. I'm just going to say that right out front. He does not transform into the bike. He's got the pieces situated around so that it kind of looks like he does, but he does not. All the same articulation. All of these figures have the same articulation, so I'm not going to go through it every time. Now, the sword comes in the accessory box. So if you buy just the box with Axel, however you like to pronounce it, he will not have his sword. You have to get the accessory box to get the sword. But it looks great. It's just fully painted in silver, but really nicely detailed. The driver looks good. He's got nice paint here on the chest. The head looks fantastic. Really, really nice there. I think that's translucent blue over painted silver, which looks nice. And then he's got a host of different hand options as well. They all have hand options. I'm not going to go through them every single time, but you have a lot of options for the hands. But yeah, Axel looks fantastic. Next up, we'll move over here to Luna Trigger. One thing I did notice, it's not a big deal, but you have the silver seam that runs through the form. It's not painted on the necks. Again, not a big deal, because most of the time you hardly see it, depending on how you have it, but I guess that's one paint application that is kind of missing. Now you can see here the gun, I believe, is cast in yellow and then completely painted blue. And you can really see how thick that paint is on there. I'm assuming because it was such a light color, they had to really cake the paint on so that it wouldn't show, the yellow wouldn't show through. Because that is really thick and kind of globby. They also have a open version. So this actually does come in the box with the figure. And then they have the attack, I don't know, it's when you take this piece and you click it up. So you load in the memory and then you click it up. And they have this version. This is in the accessory box. This version comes with the figure. But you do get both versions if you get the accessory box. So that's pretty cool. And then again, just amazing paint applications. Really look sharp. All of the metallic. See, I feel like, again, it was molded in yellow, which is why this is kind of a flat yellow. And then all of the metallic blue is painted. And it just looks really, really sharp. All the metallic paint is really, really nice. And then last for double, we have Heat Metal. And again, I believe this was cast all in red, and then all of the silver is painted because that looks really nice and metallic and sharp. Now in the box, he comes with the smaller version of the staff, which can just peg onto the back. You can see here if I pop this out. There's a peg hole right there. It's very simple. Now you will also notice that they all have the peg hole for the scarf, even though only Cyclone has the scarf. So technically it wouldn't be right, but if you wanted to put the scarf on Heat or Luna, you could, because I guess they all share the same base mold. So you could if you wanted to. And they all have the same driver as well, which is nicely painted. Now there is a longer version of the bow staff that comes in the extra accessory box. Let me zoom out here because this is quite long, quite massive. So compared to the one that he has on his back, you can see just how much longer it is. It's probably double or almost double. So, get it? Double. Anyway, it's really nice. I really appreciate that they include, multiple versions of these weapons. I think this looks great on his back. And then because this is the longer version, it does not have a peg to mount this on his back, which makes sense, I think. But yeah, all of the double forms look great. At first I was a little bummed because they had done double in Shodo Chronicle, And those were nice too. Don't get me wrong. Those had the ability to actually swap the halves. These do not. So that's probably something else I should say right up front. He can't transform. These can't come apart. You cannot swap these. You cannot mix and match. So if you're interested in mixing and matching the halves, you'd want to go with Shodo Chronicle, because Shodo Chronicle did have the ability to mix and match. So you could do Luna Metal, or you could do, Heat Trigger, things like that. These are just the classic combos, the 3 classic combos, and they are not able to come apart. Alright, so next up we'll continue on with our other characters rounding out the wave. Now these characters all make sense considering on what was in the first wave, because we had 0-1 in the first wave. So now we're getting 0-2. Now technically you can pretend this is either Aruto or Izu, whichever you prefer. But you can see she does have the hands, Izu's hands, to do the classic Humagear pose. So that's what I've opted for here. But you do have a ton of other options. You have, kind of staging hands, closed fists, whatever you'd like to do. I'm sure there's the Aruto joke pose hand in there as well. I just don't remember which one that is. But the figure looks great. I love with these all the texture. 0-1 was the same way. All the molded texture, you can see it in the plastic, and that just looks amazing to me. And they've done such a nice job with that. All of the paint applications on this are really solid, and that molded texture is just phenomenal. Really impressed by that. I was impressed with it with 0-1. Looks just as good here on 0-2. So you can pretend it's Izu, you can pretend it's Aruto for like the one time Aruto used this form. But this looks fantastic. 0-2 is looking great, and that will accompany your figures from the first wave of Double Cross, which had, I believe, the base form Rising Hopper, and then it also had, Rising Hopper, Shining Hopper, whatever the base. I guess they technically look exactly the same, so whatever. It could be either one, whichever you choose. And it also had Metal Cluster Hopper, which was really cool. Also in the first wave was Black RX. So from Black RX, we have Robo Rider. Now, if you watched Kamen Rider in the US back in the 90s, this was called like Extra Gold or something like that. Rider Extra Gold. It was like a power-up they gave him, even though I believe they're separate characters in Kamen Rider Black RX. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't seen it, but I believe they are separate characters. But in the US footage, or I should say in the US, they used the footage to pretend like he got a power-up. So this is Robo Rider. He looks great. Really, really nicely done. The gun comes in the accessory box, so he does not come with the gun. If you buy just the box with him, you'll get just the figure and the multiple hands, but the gun does come in the accessory box. But just really nicely painted. All the same articulation. Now, I guess technically he does still have the ab ball joint there, but it's not really shown off as much because he's kind of got this piece that comes all the way down. So I think I'm trying to tell which one I'm actually utilizing, because of course there's a ball joint here and a ball joint here, and it's hard to tell which one I'm actually utilizing at the moment. But he's also got the shoulder pads that are connected to the chest piece so that the arms can move around in there. They're a little bit more molded down, so it's a little hindered, but you can still get the poses you need out of them. And just all the paint applications look really, really sharp. So he looks great. And then last but certainly not least, we have Bio Rider, which I don't think this guy made it into the US show at all. But he's cool. He looks good. He comes with a sword. The sword is in the accessory pack. Again, not packed with the figure. I think the only ones that actually have accessories packed with the figure are Heat Metal and Luna Trigger. They're the only ones that actually have weapons in the box with them. Everybody else is in the accessory pack. But this guy, I feel like, he helped the budget by having less paint applications. You can tell that they just molded the whole thing in blue, because that's at least 50%. And then they just had to paint this little bit of silver and red here on the legs. And they didn't continue with the silver around. I don't think any of them do that, to be honest. Yeah, none of them have the belts go all the way around. Would be nice, but I get it. It's a way to cut costs. And hey, at least there's no stickers in these sets, right? I mean, Shodo has No stickers, all paint, which is why they're my favorite. But yeah, this guy looks good. Really, really nice. Like this a lot. Love the sword. Really nice metallic paint there on the sword. I think that looks really sharp. This is a great wave. Honestly, really, really awesome wave here. It's very double focused. So I can understand if you have the Shodo Chronicle figures and you're thinking to yourself, I don't really need these. I get it. I do. Because that's kind of how I felt at first. But having them in hand, they really do look amazing. I mean, the paint applications, especially on the 3 double forms, are just phenomenal. All that metallic paint really, really looks sharp. The accessories are great, assuming you get the accessory box. Axel looks fantastic. Robo Rider, Bio Rider, and 02, they all look fantastic. So definitely a solid wave. Definitely recommend picking these up. I think 3 comes out soon, or already came out. 3 might have already come out, I think. Might have that on the way to me. I think 4 just got announced. So it's going to be good stuff. We got O's coming. I know they're doing more Kuka stuff, so that'll be in one. I think it's in 4. Was it 5? I don't know. I'm a little behind. But in any case, this is the second wave of Shodo Double Cross for Kamen Rider, and they're great. So I recommend them, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you pick these up? I know it's a little late at this point. These have been out for a while, but did you get these? Did you stick with the Shodo Chronicle, or did you just not get them at all? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.